Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm planning on doing my wrap-up video for the month of June. So it is still technically June, although it is coming to a close. It's currently the 28th of June, so I figured today was a good day to finally wrap up the month. I just have a Sapporo here, so feel free to join me in a beverage. We just got back from the park. It's a beautiful day today. It's 25 degrees Celsius here in Canada, so it's really, really nice, although it is a bit windy, but I'm not complaining because we just had a heat wave that ended like about 3 days ago, and that was excruciating. It was so hot, so just absolutely such a beautiful day today. So it's definitely got me feeling a lot more energized lately. So before we get into the decks, I don't even know where to start. This month just flew by. I don't know about you guys. I'm assuming it flew by for you too, but for me for sure, it's like I blinked and the month of June was done. So one thing that I really, it was very evident for me, although I would have to admit that I do struggle with this a lot, is I really struggled with my energy levels this month. They just went up and down, although, like I said, this is something that I do typically struggle with. It was just a little bit surprising for me because I do have a bit more energy in the summer, but I noticed that I was really struggling with my energy this month. I had some really significant breakthroughs with my inner child work this month. We were dealing with the theme of inner child empowerment. I'm sure you guys are well aware. I've spoken about it on the channel. I also began creating watercolor art. So this is another thing I noticed this month. Although I was struggling with my energy, I was still incredibly creative. I was feeling very creatively inspired this month. So I did get back into watercolor. I really wanted this book, so I picked it up before the month of June. And I've been using it for inspiration. You can see just how to do watercolor. There's mushrooms, there's different plants and animals. So feeling really creatively inspired by this book. I had it out on the altar and I was feeling really inspired to create my own watercolor art as well. And I started filling pages in my art journal. So if you guys are like, you've been around since the beginning of the channel, you guys are well aware of my art journal. If not, I do have a little notebook that I used a lot last year, particularly last summer. I'm now getting back into that again. I'm also creating a Sailor Moon deck, so I started that this month as well. So I'm creating my own Sailor Moon deck, just using Make playing cards. It's just a personal deck. I don't even know what's gonna happen with that. I also experienced a significant opportunity that I never thought would happen. So I'm feeling incredibly grateful for that opportunity as well. And I also don't know how to express my gratitude towards you guys. I never in a million years thought that I would have so many eyes on me. I'm surprised people watch my channel to begin with, so it's always a shock to me that you guys keep coming back to the videos. It's honestly, I don't know how to express my gratitude for all of you, for every single one of you. You keep coming back. And you guys leave such wonderful comments. You're so sweet. For the most part, I've had a very positive experience with the community in this spiritual witchy space. So I don't know how to express my gratitude. I really want to give back to the community, to you guys. I have no clue how to give back. I think an idea will come to me, or you guys feel free to let me know in the comment section below what you guys want to see. But I just don't know how to express my gratitude. I really just want to thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. You're so kind. You always leave the most wonderful comments, and I get private messages, and like I said, I've just had such an overwhelmingly positive. How am I saying that right? It's been a very positive experience for the most part. So I just wanted to thank you guys. And I want to give back. I don't know where to begin. But that is a, brief summary of the energy and the experience of June. So really dealing with themes of empowerment, which I've shared on the channel. I do think that this is a significant part of why I've chosen to incarnate. I am a life path 4, so I've realized that, at least in my experience, life path 4s are really all about, it's of course about creating structures and stability, but fundamentally it's really about recognizing your own personal power, not just recognizing it, but also rising in it. So I do think that this is going to be a significant theme that I explore throughout the entirety of my life. Entirety? Yeah. Okay, we're just gonna move on. We're just gonna move on. Okay, so I did do my Empowering the Inner Child video, so there is a significant amount of information about the theme that I was dealing with this month in that video, so I'm gonna go ahead and link that in the description box below. I don't want to repeat, constantly, right? It's kind of redundant at that point, but so I'll link that video in the description box below. I also talked a little bit about the watercolor decks. So there was about 2 weeks where I was incredibly drawn to watercolor and watercolor decks, both tarot and oracle. So you'll see that when I go over the decks portion of this video. And then I had the beginning of the month where I was really drawn to the Femme Fatale kind of energy. And then I also kind of ended with that energy as well. So you'll also see that reflected in the tarot and oracle portion of this video. So without further ado, before we dive into the decks, I did just remember my predictions that I did back in May in that wrap-up video for June. Which, by the way, I'll do July predictions at the end of this video for you guys, and also for myself. But I did have some of those predictions come true. I did have a significant relationship kind of end or change, but it was more of a closing out my contract. I'm not sure if you guys even remember, but last summer I did mention how I went back to an older job at the beginning. Was it the beginning? About 10 months ago, I went to an older job. So that contract has completed. So now I'm moving on to my next contract. So I did have a significant relationship kind of close out with that, with the ending of that contract, as well as a significant role that I was playing within this facility. In the comment section below, if you also experienced something similar, if you also had a significant relationship, contract, role, or priority end in the month of June. Okay, so let's get into the deck. So I'm just gonna flip to the June decks that I had selected. So I actually didn't pull out a lot of the decks that I had selected and mentioned in my May video for June, in my June decks video. So I think I maybe used the Viola Lux Umbra deck once or twice this month. The Magical Botanical Oracle I think I just used once. Seed and Sickle Oracle I did use a few times more towards the end of May. The Ophidia Rose Tarot, I don't think I used that at all in June. The Lost Oracle I did not pull out. I didn't use it, as well as the Magic of You Oracle. I, however, did use everything else that I mentioned. The Alchemist's Oracle, the Language of Color Oracle. You guys know that's part of my... that's my weekly practice. They're part of my weekly practice. So I do have a video about that. I'll link that in the description box below as well. So all my weekly decks, the Wild Unknown Archetypes, the Language, the Color... the Language of Color Oracle, the Alchemist's Oracle, and there's another one I use. Oh, the Oracle of the Hecatean Path as well. So those are my weekly decks. So I use them all month. I got a lot of use out of my Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle deck this month. It's upside down. Which I'm very happy about, because if you watched back in December, if you were watching my channel, I had created a deck list video for the channel, and it was all the decks that I had been on the fence about getting rid of, and this was on that list, this deck, because I had barely worked with it at that point. I don't want decks to just kind of collect dust on my shelf. Like, if I'm not actively working with something, I didn't see the point in keeping it around. So I'm really thankful that it finally stepped forward for me. So I was really drawn to working with watercolor this month while exploring empowering my inner child as a theme. It really came forward as a theme for me throughout the month of June. And while I was doing this work, I realized that watercolor, to me, it really does have it houses the energy of the inner child, or even just a child. It has this childlike innocence to it. I don't know, the way, if you have a child in your life, you'll see it. You see the way that they look at the world. It's very inspiring. So I find that a lot of watercolor, just, it has these bright, vivid, just beautiful colors. It tends to be really bright, and I gravitate towards those types of watercolor decks as well too, because I think they do represent the inner child for me. And after I did some digging, I realized that I also see my inner child. So I'm a Pisces, so I always see my inner child as the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups in tarot being a child water sign. In fact, when I pull the Page of Cups, especially from the Witch Sister Tarot, it immediately, I know it's talking about my inner child. So watercolor, to me, it really does possess the energy of my inner child, that Page of Cups, and also this kind of Piscean escapism. So, and it just so happens that so many of these decks, wow, that's way too bright. You can get lost in these decks And this deck too, the animals, I was such an animal, I still am, but I was such an animal lover as a child. And we grew up, in my family home, we grew up with a lot of different animals. So this deck really came forward for me while I was doing this exploration of empowerment. So I was mostly using this with the Linestrider Tarot. I find that the two decks work really well together, by the way. But for the most part, I was incredibly drawn to working with the two decks together. And I found that this deck, whatever card pull or whatever animal I got that day, it typically was talking about the energy to embody. So I was mostly working with this deck that way. Like as an example, I pulled the Lion card out of this deck. So I knew it was talking about courage and strength. So I did find it was more about embodying a specific energy throughout the day. As I do, I mostly pulled from this deck as a daily draw. So next up, I pulled out the Linestrider Tarot this month. And I had such a lovely experience with this deck. This deck, to me, it really possesses as well as watercolor, it really does house the energy of my inner child, getting lost in different worlds, using my imagination. You know, that Piscean escapism. I loved the different animal depictions as well, as I am an animal lover, and I enjoyed all my little animal companions as I was growing up. But I really did enjoy working with this deck throughout the month of June. Really just exploring my relationship with my own inner child, as well as creating that exploring, empowering the inner child video for the channel. That this deck really came forward for that. So in between the watercolor and the more femme fatale, kind of like sexy, more about embodiment energy, or more stepping into my femininity or sexual sovereignty energy decks. We'll get into that more towards the end of the deck portion of this video. I was really drawn to this deck. This is the Mystical Manga Tarot, I believe. And this deck, I had so much fun exploring, creating my own Sailor Moon kind of using the images created by the creator. So I was having a lot of fun creating that deck using this one. And this deck, it connects me more with the older childhood years, like right before I became a teen. Because that version of myself, as well as now still, but that version of myself really did enjoy anime, drawing, expressing myself more creatively, as well as just getting lost in anime and other worlds through anime, games, and manga. So I really do enjoy connecting with this deck in that sense. It really reminds me of those early teen years, like preteen to early teen years, like high school. So another deck that I was really enjoying this month is A Deck for Wonder Walking by Amy Wong. So this is an independently produced deck, and I won't get too much into it as I did just recently talk about this deck on the channel. It was part of my Empowering the Inner Child video. But this is another watercolor deck that I was feeling really creatively inspired by this month. And this deck is an excellent clarifier. It's particularly very powerful at helping you identify as well as understand difficult emotions. But I was really enjoying this deck with my Deathly Flowers Tarot. So you guys know I recently unboxed that deck on the channel. I've been having honestly, such a love affair with that deck. So I have been really enjoying this deck as a companion oracle deck to help clarify the Deathly Flowers Tarot. So again, this deck it's a deck for wonder walking. Another deck that I've been really enjoying working with, either my Deathly Flowers Tarot or my Femme Fatale Tarot. So those two decks I'll save for more towards the end of this video, but I've been really enjoying this deck with those tarot decks. This deck is oops, I actually have a Deathly Flowers Tarot card. This is actually one of my daily draws. It somehow got not put back with the rest of the deck, which is kind of funny. But this deck, it's a French deck. It's called Oracle Lilith. I don't think you can pick this up anymore, but you might be able to find it used somewhere. I just picked this up on Amazon. So if you are drawn to the imagery, feel free to look this up on Amazon. You can see the title of the deck on the back of the cards here. Oracle Lilith. So this deck is excellent for embodiment. It's a very sexy, sensual energy deck, as you would expect from any Lilith deck, to be honest. And I think that's why it works so well with my Femme Fatale Tarot as well as the Deathly Flowers Tarot. But this deck, usually whatever I pull from this deck will be more of like an energy to embody that day. So again, this is Oracle Lilith. Next, I have the Cries of the Soul Oracle. This is a rock pool deck. It's incredible. This is one of my favorite oracle decks to work with embodiment. I should say the theme of embodiment. This deck really packs a punch, and I really like the keywords. So for example, it says family loyalty, I am myself. So I really like the little key phrase. What is that, like a sentence or a key phrase at the bottom? And I really like to work with this to just really help me identify where I'm actually empowered in a situation, although I might not see it that way initially. This deck really works well for flipping the script. It's a beautiful deck. It's become one of my favorites, like I said. Okay, we are near the end. So, the beginning of the month, I was drawing from my Femme Fatale Tarot. So this is a personal deck. I created it using film noir images. And I used make playing cards. I just got mine gilded in red. I like to work with this deck for empowerment. It's the Femme Fatale, or it's at least closely linked to the Femme Fatale archetype for me. This deck is really powerful, in my opinion. I mean, I did create it, so I'm a little biased, but I created this deck with the intention that I always leave the experience feeling empowered. It's all about feeling confident and sexy in your own skin. Accepting who you are, accepting your flaws. Coming into your own. It's really what this deck has come to embody for me and represent. And for that, I'm just so grateful. I'm really happy that that deck came to fruition when it did. So the last deck that it's pretty new in my collection. I did just do the unboxing. So I've had it for, I think, a little over a week now. And I have to report that I am just having such a wonderful experience with this deck. This is Chanel's Deathly Flowers Tarot. It is just the most sensual, sexy, but it's dark too. It has this death and rebirth energy to it. It's like Persephone. But it's also the Femme Fatale and her full glory. You know, whereas I find, like, with my deck, I was really trying to explore the Femme Fatale myth, like, wholeheartedly in all her facets, in all her emotions, like the range of emotion, especially through the images of film noir. I did try and capture as many different emotions and experiences as I could. This deck, I feel like this is just the Femme Fatale just at her peak. It's a very sexy deck. I always leave the experience feeling inspired, passionate, and confident and sexy. This deck, that's the backing. This deck makes me want to wear a lot of black and red, as you can tell. It wants me. It makes me want to wear my lace and my leather. It's like Scorpio, the sign of Scorpio. It's the death card in tarot. And it embodies that energy. I think this deck is going to be so wonderful for the Samhain Sabbath for Halloween, for Scorpio season. It just has that Scorpio Persephone kind of energy, that death and rebirth energy to it. It's all about empowerment, confidence, sensuality, just feeling confident in your own skin, feeling sexy, and being comfortable with yourself, your flaws included, accepting that you're not perfect. Nobody is. And I love this deck for that, as well as my own deck. And I still have yet to work with the two decks together, but that is on my to-do list in the future. I also had an intention of working with the Wild Unknown Tarot. I I'm sad to say that I did not get around to that. That just too much stuff happened, and the month really just, like I said, it flew by. I think I only read one chapter of Burning Woman, so that is still to be read. It's on my to be read list, although I don't know when, because next month I have some other themes that we're exploring, and we'll get more into that when I get to that video. But for now, I did want to report that I only read one chapter. I'm kind of struggling with that book. I just have some different experiences and opinions. So I've just been really struggling. Also, time constraints. I've just been struggling to find the time, and I've recently discovered a new book that I've just been, like, I can't put it down. I've been reading that book instead of Burning Woman. Anyway, we'll get more into that when I get to July's decks and books. But that concludes today's video. This is the month of June. Like I said, it just flew by. I'm really surprised at how fast it came and it went. It's been a pleasure. We're finally really starting to experience wonderful weather. I took Amelia to the splash pad the past 2 weeks, so we've been really enjoying the water play, and me and my husband are going to take her swimming, like a family swim, and we invited some friends as well, and then we're probably going to go hot tubbing, just him and I. Amelia's too young to do that just yet, but looking forward to that as well, and just really experiencing the summer. Finally, we had quite a snowy, cold winter, so I'm just looking forward to enjoying the summer months with Amelia, and I have a little bit more time coming up. I'll have more time to share with her, as well as to create more content and be more creative. So I'm looking forward to that before I start my new job contract. But for now, I'm very comfortable with where I am with the summer months and with the experiences. I'm really looking forward to them. So thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comment section below what you were doing in June, what experiences you had, what decks you were drawn to working with, what books you read. I am dying to know. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.